Hello, Math 141. The formula f of a plus h minus f of a all over h with h not equal to 0 computes the slope of the secant line through 2 points on the graph of f of x. These 2 points are a f of a and a plus h, f of a plus h. We will talk extensively about this in the beginning of Math 151. You don't have to mess with it too much at the moment. Let's just pay attention to the examples that I'm going to show you. Let me go ahead and go to the next page. Suppose I have f of x equals 3x plus 5. And the instruction is find f of a, find f of a plus h, and the difference quotient, that is f of a plus h minus f of a all over h, with the understanding that h cannot equal 0, of course. So first, if this is my f of x, if this right here is my f of x, what is my f of a? Well, f of a equals, I'm going to just replace x with a, equals 3 times a plus 5. Okay. What is f of a plus h? F of a plus h equals 3 times a plus h, and here's a plus 5. So f of a plus h equals 3a plus 3h plus 5. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and go to the next page and find the difference quotient. What is my formula? My formula is f of x plus h, f of, in this case, a plus h minus f of a all over h. Okay, and that equals, let me go actually to the next line. Let me put my equal sign in here. We found that f of a plus h was from the previous page, right here. F of a plus h was 3a plus 3h plus 5. So 3a plus 3h plus 5. This was my f of a plus h. And I have right here, I have minus. So minus what? Minus f of a. What is f of a? F of a we found out to be 3a plus 5. This parenthesis right here is very necessary, all over h. So this equals 3a plus 3h plus 5 minus 3a minus 5 all over h. Notice that we can cancel the 3a with minus 3a, cancel 5 with negative 5. So I'm left with 3h over h and cancel the h. So final answer is going to be 3. Final answer is going to be 3. Let's do another example. Let's do something like maybe of a higher power this time. Suppose I have f of x equals x to the second plus 1. Okay, same instruction. Let's find f of a. Let's find f of a plus h and difference quotient. So that's my instruction. What is my f of a? F of a equals, replacing x with a, I get a to the second plus 1. How about f of a plus h? F of a plus h equals a plus h to the second power plus 1, and that equals a to the second plus 2ha plus h to the second plus 1. Okay, and now I'm ready to use my difference quotient. Remember, the difference quotient was a, or rather f of a, made it here, f of a plus h minus f of a all over h. That was my formula. So now I'm going to go ahead and substitute, starting with f of a plus h. Well, I have it right here. I have it as a to the second plus 2ha plus h to the second plus 1 minus, okay, minus f of a right here, which is minus a to the second plus 1 all over h. And now I'm going to go ahead and go to the next page. So that equals a to the second plus 2ha plus h to the second plus 1 minus a to the second minus 1 all over h. What can I cancel? I can cancel a to the second with negative a to the second, the 1 and negative 1, and I'm left with 2ha plus h to the second all over h. Notice that I can go ahead and factor an h out from the numerator. So now I have h times 2a plus h all over h. And now I can cancel. Now that I have a product on the numerator, I can cancel the h. So my final answer is 2a plus h. So the difference quotient for f of x equals x to the second plus 1 is 2a plus h. And let's do one more example. Suppose, let's do one that is a little bit harder. How about if we have f of x equals x over x plus 1. Same instruction. Find f of a, find f of a plus h, and difference quotient. So that's my, so first of all, what is f of a? F of a, that's easy, just, f of a equals a over a plus 1. So I'm going to use that pretty soon. How about the f of a plus h? F of a plus h equals a plus h over a plus h plus 1. Okay. And now I want to use, so I found the first part, I found the second part, now I want to find the difference quotient. Let me go to the next page. Actually, let me, okay. No, I don't have enough room here, so next page. Using my difference quotient, my formula is f of a plus h minus f of a all over h. What does that equal to? I have f of a plus h, which happen to be a plus h over a plus h plus 1 minus f of a, that was a over a plus 1, and all that over h. So what can I do here? I'm going to go ahead and using least common denominator, I'm going to combine the numerator. I'm going to just, first of all, what is my LCD? LCD for the numerator of this complex fraction that we have is a plus h plus 1 times a plus 1. So I'm going to multiply top and bottom of this fraction by a plus 1. So that gives me a plus h times a plus 1 over a plus h plus 1 times a plus 1 minus, I'm going to multiply top and bottom of this fraction by a plus h plus 1. So that gives me a times a plus h plus 1 over a plus h plus 1 times a plus 1. And I have to remember that all of this was over h. All of this was over h. So I'm going to go ahead and go to the next page. This equals a to the second plus a plus h times a plus h minus a to the second minus ah minus a all over my LCD. That was a plus 1, a plus h plus 1, and all that over h. Let's see. I can cancel this a to the second with this a to the second and cancel a and minus a. And so I have, I'm left with this equals HA plus H minus AH, which is the same as saying minus HA. Oh, I could cancel this with this. So really, all I'm left with on the top is H over A plus 1, A plus H plus 1, okay? And remember that all this was over H in here. Okay. So what I'm going to do, I have a complex fraction, this complex fraction right here. I'm going to multiply top and bottom of this complex fraction by 1 over H and 1 over H. That way I can cancel this with this, and I can cancel this with this. So there's a 1 in here. So this equals 1 over a plus 1 times a plus h plus 1. Okay, so the difference quotient for f of x equals x over x plus 1 is 1 over a plus 1 times a plus h plus 1. I'll talk to you soon. Thank you.